In 2024, did you get out for Milky Way enough? In 2024, did you practice your Milky Way photography in awesome portfolio-worthy places? Did you go to Utah, New Mexico, beautiful coastal Oregon, Nevada, or even California? If you have said no to any of these questions, then I have to ask, are you going to in 2025? Hey everybody, before I go any further, I need to interject right here that I know I sound different and you can't see my face. I am actually currently not in my studio. I am between homes right now. I just moved out of my apartment and I'm couch surfing at my buddy's place. I'm in his apartment, in his living room with a little bit of extra echo, and I'm using a headset instead of my mic. I just don't have my normal stuff, but I really wanted to do this early bird sale, and since I had all of the workshop web pages completely done, I wanted to talk about everything and share it right away and let all of you have this video as a resource when deciding on where you're going to go in 2025. Quickly, I want to emphasize something that is surprisingly unique between me and other photography workshop leaders. When I go out for photography workshops, I do not bring my camera. I don't do these workshops to get more photos. I don't do these workshops so I can bring my camera and build my portfolio up. I do these workshops to teach. That's what I love to do, not bringing my camera and being distracted by taking my own photos. So if you come out with me on a workshop in 2025, you'll find out that teaching is my priority and you are my priority. Before we go into this, this is the bit.ly link that will be down in the description down below. It'll open up this page. And this early bird sale is going to go through Wednesday night, and at midnight Pacific time, it will end. Okay, I won't say any more to that. You're here to learn about the workshops. I'll mention that some more later on in the video, but let's get talking about 2025. If you go in here, you can click on the pictures or you can click on the links down below to go into it. Let's go into the winter one. The Southern Utah workshop that's happening in January, and this one is new and special. The benefit of winter Milky Way panorama is that we can take advantage of this gorgeous view, and to take advantage of this fully, you really should get an astro-modified camera to make the reds of the nebulas really pop. Get in contact with Clarence Spencer and go to spencerscameras.com and see if your old camera that you just upgraded from is something that you can use for an astro-modified camera. I highly recommend it. Check out this image that Ida captured. When we were there in 2023 in January, Ida captured this awesome image. Right here, it really shows off a wonderful view from Dead Horse Point, where we do a panorama arching over this really cool bonsai tree that hangs off the edge of Dead Horse Point and takes in the view of that awesome rock that's kind of a battleship with a horseshoe bend kind of river of water going around it. It looks terrific. I love this area, and typically we face only at this rock and go straight up with the vertical Milky Way in the fall. But this is an opportunity to bring it in, plus the rocks, the snow, and a curving tree all underneath a beautiful arching winter Milky Way panorama. And with her astro-modified camera, you can really see where the nebulas are popping off the screen. Here's Barnard's Loop around Orion constellation. This is the Orion Nebula. This is where the Horsehead Nebula is going to be found. It is gorgeous with Rosette Nebula up here in the band. And then you can see the bright star of Betelgeuse showing up nice and orange. This is a cool way of spending those winter months when we're kind of bored and waiting for the excitement of the summer Milky Way to come back. You can get out there and enjoy it. And thank you, Ida, for letting me share your photo on here because I am so envious of it. I think it's a fantastic capture of that Milky Way band, and seeing that winter Milky Way going over this subject or over Factory Butte, over other cool subjects in southern Utah. This workshop, it is a dedicated landscape and Milky Way. So I'm going to make sure that when we're in the Factory Butte area, we hit up right here my favorite sunrise location ever. As you can see in this picture, it is a crazy cliff that he is hanging out on. It looks scarier from here than it actually is. Let me show you in this image. You can see it nice and close. Okay, I don't think I made it look even less scary with this image because it's even steeper from this angle on this photo. I think that's Hudson up there. And This gorgeous Martian terrain is a fantastic and beautiful sunrise. And oh, yeah, here we go. Here's the picture I wanted to show you where it looks less scary. Doesn't look like you're going to fall off it at any moment. And you can see us enjoying, oh, just a fantastic Martian landscape. Oh, it's amazing. Not to mention that whole terrain is covered in snow. In this time, you can see how it looks in this picture where it is snowy around that terrain. So such a difference to go in January where you also have the landscape photography benefit, and I absolutely love it. So this is the Southern Utah Winter Panorama and Landscape Photography Workshop. Okay, I was talking a little too long on this one, but I'm excited about this new workshop because it involves so much. I wanted to give it a lot of attention, but let's blitz through these other ones. This workshop right here, the Southern Utah Winter Summer Panorama one, is identical to the one I just talked about. The locations are the same with one major massive addition. A location addition in Hoodoo Village plus the summer panorama. You're not just getting the winter panorama, this one up here, but you're also getting the summer panorama in the same night. So at the beginning of the night, you take advantage of looking to the west and capture this panorama, and then this sets, and the other side of the hula hoop tilts up to the east, and that side of the hula hoop tipping up over the horizon, which is this eastern view, brings with it the galactic core, and the galactic core of the Milky Way shows up for a typical Milky Way panorama, and we hit up Goblin Valley, the Factory Butte area, and Hoodoo Village. Those are the three locations that are promised and guaranteed to go to, with an extra bonus area location that I'd like to hit up, and it all depends on the weather and what gives us the opportunity to go. So this is another Southern Utah workshop, but it includes both winter and summer. Then there's Bisti Badlands. We'll leave Utah and go to New Mexico and then take in the adventure that takes you through the Ashisla Pa area and Bisti Badlands, where you can capture the cracked eggs, Milky Way Canyon that we've given it the name, the Sea of Hoodoos, Alien Throne, which is an awesome experience. In fact, let me just show it to you right here. Alien Throne is terrific. And so hopefully you'll get to come out here to New Mexico and enjoy Bisti Badlands. Now let's go over to the Salt Flats. Salt Flats Workshop is amazing if the water is there. As you can see in this picture down below, sometimes the water isn't as flooded as it can be. I mean, when Brendan and I were standing in this water with 1 inch deep water for 3 football fields around us, it was a transcendent experience. Seeing this Milky Way panorama just sing was so, so cool. I mean, look at this. So this Salt Flats workshop, 4 nights out here. We're going to be in Bonneville Salt Flats, the Knolls bonus area, and the Ward Charcoal Kilns. Just some low-level light painting on the inside of each of these kilns and capture the Milky Way coming off their cool silhouettes. It's awesome. Now we're going to go into the summertime. Here's a fantastic example of panorama in southern Utah right here. I absolutely love this image. It turned out brilliantly. Our main focal areas will be Goblin Valley, Factory Butte, and Hoodoo Village. This isn't a true panorama, but this time of year has a great silhouette of this pancake rock and a cool location, and it all depends on weather. Weather tends to keep us here or never coming here, depending on where the clouds are at that time. And so we were very versatile in this workshop where we can end up on the west corner or the east corner of southern Utah, and lots to move around and adjust for. And if we're lucky, a bonus area right here. Oh, it's a terrific opportunity to see southern Utah. And if you haven't gone recently, you will appreciate coming out here and taking in the sights, as it's just southern Utah. It's the best. Absolutely a must see. Continuing on after that, we finally go to my second favorite place in the world, Oregon coast. I love the Oregon coast. And this one particularly enjoys Crater Lake as well, as we spend 2 nights in Crater Lake and then have 2 nights on the coast. If the weather is perfect, then the first night in Crater Lake, we are done and we spend 3 nights along the Oregon coast. So do not get your hotels yet. Do not plan on exactly where we're going to be, because I could start us on the coast. I could start us in Crater Lake. And if the weather permits, I don't need to be at Crater Lake for 2 nights. We'll get everything we want after 1 night. But the 2 nights is more of an insurance to say, hey, we're going to have enough time to get that beautiful weather. I've been in Crater Lake where I've shown up with the group and it just snowed on us and it was terrible. So we went back, and the next day it was as if it never snowed before in its life. So weather is dynamic out there. It's very cold in June. Even in June, it's frigid up here. As you can see, we're all in our winter clothes. After the Crater Lake workshop, I go into a California Sierras during the summer. The summer is a volatile time. In Utah, we have the monsoon season, lots of clouds. So I like to go over to the coast and go to California. In California Sierras, it tends to be very dry but very hot. You will appreciate the fact that we have clear skies, but boy, oh boy, the warmth. Thank goodness we're Milky Way photographers, because during the day you'll find shade to survive, and then at night is when we go out as a group for photography. So if you have a hotel, you just stay in your hotel, air conditioning, right up until dinner. We get some dinner, and then we blitz out together. It's a cool opportunity to see that eastern Sierra side of California, where the variety in California just makes California such a cool state. We'll spend a night at Alabama Hills, a night at the Bristlecone Pines by Bishop, and a night or two at Mono Lake. The last 3 workshops, we're going back to Oregon coast, and while the fires are going off, the weather is hot, going to the coast is a terrific prize to get away from everything. As we go from Brookings to Bandon to Pacific City, where Cape Kiwanda is, and Cannon Beach, we see everything. And on the way, we see Yachats, which has Thor's Well. It is fantastic landscape and brilliant uniqueness that we'll be seeing lighthouses and Thor's Well and beautiful sea stacks all along the road. And so if you want to bring your significant other, I haven't mentioned this yet, but if you wanted to bring someone like a wife, a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a brother who's not doing photography with you but wants to come on this trip all the way out to Oregon coast, you can. Absolutely. Zero cost. Not a single dollar is required to bring a friend. You just join the group. As long as they don't have a tripod and camera out and are taking advantage of the lessons, then they don't owe a cent. And so you can come with your husband and they can hang out with us at all the dinners and all the meals at all the areas. And honestly, I love it. They bring in a built-in camaraderie, and it's just the group is more fun automatically by having a dynamic of chemistry already built in. The 5 nights workshop is not part of my deal. This will not have a discount, but it is such an amazing fun workshop where you fly into Salt Lake City, I pick you up there, I drive you down to secret area number 1, then Dead Horse Point, the Wedge Overlook, Goosenecks or Muley Point, or maybe both depending on the night, and Factory Butte. So we have a lot of locations for 5 separate nights of Milky Way. And the cool thing about this 5 nights is it's one more night than the other workshops, but it's also 5 fewer other participants. Instead of 8 students, there's 3. You're one of 3 instead of being one of 8. And so if you enjoy being, on your own and not having so many other students fighting for the cool composition, this is the option for you. The absolute best benefit of the fall. By the time the row of Fuki right here has set on the horizon, it's midnight. And so we are done by midnight driving back. I'm in the car driving you back to your hotel or Airbnb with me, and you can just rest and be asleep and actually have a normal night of sleep, which makes it more possible and fun to take in the landscape opportunities. We aren't so exhausted blitzing everywhere. So if you want to have no hiking and no driving, and you love the idea of being with you and 2 others only, join me on the 5-night Southern Utah adventure with no hiking and no driving. The final workshop of the year, the last one that I'll go to, October 13th through 17th. This is the Southern Utah Fall, which is roughly exactly like the one I just described, but 1 night less. We go to all the same places, Goblin Valley, Factory Butte, and Hoodoo Village. We hit all of those with vertical compositions, and then we have a bonus area, which could be goosenecks, and just come out here to Muley Point or goosenecks. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to enjoy 2 straight nights in Green River, a night down in Hurricane by Zion, or a bonus area that's at the bottom of Utah, and depending on weather, we go for it. Fall is easy. It's so nice to be done and to take in Utah at the lack of heat, lack of traffic, not a ton of people in our way. It's not busy, and we get to have early nights. And so, if you want to enjoy Milky Way with me during a good season, a calm season, the fall is a great time to go. And you may have noticed this. I do have two more slots open for Lofoten. So if you want to come join us for Lofoten, I had one guy who had to cancel. He couldn't come out. Some family things came up, and so he's not going to make it. So I was down to just one left, but now I'm down to two. So if you and a friend want to come out and do the Aurora this fall, I'm just going to actually a month and a half, we'll be out in Lofoten doing a Trailblazer adventure, and this is only $1,200. And for those of you who loved the idea of Oregon Coast and you like the idea of being out there, Oregon Coast for 5 nights is a completely different experience. There is no weather checking. This is October, and we're here for good. So it's like we're going to go from Brookings to Bandon to Yachats to Pacific City and then Cannon Beach. And that is guaranteed what we're going to do. And weather comes what may. We're going to enjoy landscape and Milky Way. If the Milky Way can't happen, at least we still had landscape. So we start off in Brookings, have dinner together, go out for our sunset up here, and then Milky Way down there. Milky Way sets very early, and then we go and enjoy our night because Milky Way starts at 7:59 p.m. 7:59, the Milky Way starts, and then we can even go get dinner afterwards if we wanted to. And some of the nights we do. For instance, Pacific City, we finish and then go to dinner afterwards. We have dinner after our Milky Way. It's that easy going. And the next morning after we wake up in Brookings, we go down to California and take in Stout Grove Trail. It's just like a bonus hangout where everyone gets to have a chance in October to have some mushrooms that are out and see the redwoods. It's a really cool opportunity. As you can see, just the macro fun that you can have here. I focus stacked this and I handheld it. I actually didn't even put it on a tripod, just handheld macro, boom, boom, boom. And so this is even one of the more dynamic mushrooms. I just really liked the bokeh behind it. I think it's cool. So then we go from there to Bandon, enjoy the sunset in Bandon, have Milky Way in Bandon, which I didn't include a picture of here. Oh, there's Bandon right there. It's behind that, you can kind of tell. And then we go off to Yachats. We enjoy Thorswell, and then Heceta Head we like to go for, even though you can't really see the core with the light on, but the light hasn't been up lately. And so if Heceta Head is not lit again, we can come up in these trees and look out through Heceta Head at the coastline and get a Milky Way core out there. Something I haven't done yet. I'm excited to try with the group here in October. And then Pacific City, they've added a fence, and so we can't go all the way out on Cape Kiwanda. This view right here is on the edge of Cape Kiwanda, where it's a beautiful sunset looking out at Chief Kiwanda Rock. But we can't climb over there anymore. It's just there's a saddle point right there that's kind of falling apart, and eventually someone's going to be walking on the trail. It's going to landslide out from underneath them, and they don't want the lawsuit or anyone to die. So they have fenced it off now, and then we can enjoy a nice bowl of Dungeness crab mac and cheese at the Pelican Brewing. And I love that. You can split it with me because it's so much. And then our last day is Cannon Beach. So our fifth night, Cannon Beach, sunrise galore, sunset amazingness, and Milky Way off of the coast, standing in lapping ocean water, lapping at your ankles. It's really fun. I love it. The water shoes you get and socks that you get to stand in Thorswell, you'll be glad to have at Cannon Beach when you're standing in the water ankle deep. Typically biting at your calves sometimes with certain waves, but for the most part, not too high. And that is the Oregon 5-nighter. So that is what I currently have on my schedule for the rest of 2024, these two. And then up here are all of my 2025 workshops. So thanks for hanging out and watching all of these. I hope that you'll take advantage of those 4-night workshop deals and go in. Just hit the link down below. It's a bit.ly link, and it'll pull up this early bird sale. So if you see this page, it's the right one. If you click on, say, this winter PANO picture, it'll pull up the page information, but just don't buy here. If you pay for the PayPal link or fill in your credit card information down below here, you will get stuck paying $1,800. You don't want to do that. You want to take advantage of the early bird sale at $899. So you can click on the pictures to find out information about the workshops again. But if you click on the PayPal link, that takes you directly to PayPal to pay the $899. And soon I'll be in my new studio and space here within a few weeks, and I'll come back to you live where you can see my face too. All right, thanks for watching. If you made it all this far, you are tremendous. Thanks for hanging out with me all this time, and I'll see you later.